Today I have a story to tell y'all about my experience after graduation. While I was in college, I was doing good. I had a 3.12. I was the president of the Aggie Student Entrepreneurship Club. I pledged Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I was on the Student Leadership Council. I was a member of the Alpha Lambda Delta Honor Society. I interned for a place called Step by Step Care as I served as an office assistant. I did a lot in college. I also had a full-time job. I was a manager for UNCG's dining services, which I still supervise there. And I've been there for 2 years. So the whole time I was going to school, I was taking 18 credit hours every semester, and I was working 40 hours a week. My schedule kind of looked like this. I would wake up maybe about 8:30. I had to be at class around 9 or 9:30. My classes ended at 3:15 every day. I had to be at work at 4:00 p.m. I stayed at work from 4:00 p.m. to 1 a.m., sometimes 2, depending on how my employees did. So I really didn't get any sleep. I didn't really have much time to do my homework. I didn't have much time to myself. I didn't have a social life. I could only go to school and go to work. Well, thank God that's over. And now I can just strictly focus on work. But the bad thing is that it's hard to get a job once you graduate. And I know some of you already been going through this, but it's kind of fresh to me. You know, they say, go to school, get good grades, do everything right, get involved. Well, I've done that. I've done everything they say do. I've never been to jail. I don't do drugs. I mean, I've done nothing wrong thus far. I haven't made any mistakes. My credit's good. I mean, so for those of you who are going through the same things that I'm going through, just know to stay strong, continue to look for things, continue to better yourself every day. Always maximize your downtime. Go hard for what you want. Take what you want. Nobody's gonna give it to you. But I'm gonna tell you about an experience that I had with a company, right? I can't say the company's name because I don't want to badmouth them or whatever. But here's how it went. So my line brother hit me up. He was like, bruh, it's a job, they're paying good. All you gotta have is a degree. They pretty much hire anybody. It's a manager and training program. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I'm on it. And I asked her over the phone, I was like, you know, is it against policy to have dreadlocks? She told me no. So I was like, okay, cool, we can keep rolling then. I'll continue with the interview process. So I interviewed with her, you know, I smashed all my interviews. All of them, no matter what. No matter how nervous I am, I always smash my interviews. I'm always that one that you will remember. So the next interview I had to do an interview with 2 other guys at a branch. I had to do a branch observation, and that took about an hour. And I interviewed with 2 guys following that branch observation. So of course during the branch observation I was asking questions, you know, just being attentive and inquisitive all at once. But then I got to the final interview, right? So I go in there, I'm nervous. They're like, yeah, this guy's pretty harsh. I was like, it is what it is, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do to get where I wanna go. So I was like, I'm gonna interview with him, I'm gonna take him a thank you card, you know, I'm gonna shave my facial hair because they have a clean face policy. So I shaved my facial hair before I went in there just to show that I was serious about the job, you know. I didn't even get the job yet, you know, but I shaved my face. Alright, so I ring the doorbell and a man comes up to the door. And I was like, yeah, I'm here to interview with such and such. And he was like, oh, that guy's a dick, right? So I kind of laughed it off. I really didn't know what to say. Like, that guy's a dick. Yeah, okay. I'm ready to interview with this guy so I can get, you know, what I need to get. And so I started walking. He's like, come on back, man. So I started walking back with him or whatever. And he said, yeah, just have a seat right here. This is my office. You're pretty early. And I didn't know that I was actually talking to the regional vice president at the time. That's the guy that I was supposed to interview with. So I didn't see anything wrong with being early, but apparently it was an issue because he was still on his lunch. And I'm sitting in his office and I'm looking around as he goes to put his lunch back up. I'm looking around the room to see what I can ask him about. You know, how can I get him to talk about himself? You know, what can I do to make myself comfortable and to take all the pressure off of me? So I see a lot of like Notre Dame, you know, sports things around the wall or whatever. And I see like this music poster kind of on this side of the wall or whatever. So I said, you know, I'm gonna ask him about Notre Dame and music. I couldn't really relate, so I was asking him about sports and stuff like that. He kind of just shut everything down, right? He was a very straightforward person, and his attitude was on 1,000. So he interviewed me or whatever, you know, I told him everything. I kept it hot with him, you know, I didn't lie about nothing. And I asked him to see, he said, well, do you have any questions about me? And I was like, yeah, well, the first thing I noticed about you was your Rolex. I think it's a pretty cool Rolex. You know, he's like, oh yeah, man, this is a Rolex, man. He kind of took it off or whatever and let me see it. So he gave it to me, so I'm just feeling the watch, like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna say next. You know, I'm looking down like, I don't know what I'm gonna say next. And I gave it back to him and I still wasn't ready. So I just kept interviewing. I couldn't, there was no transitional point for me. I didn't know what to do. So the whole time he just kind of drilling me. He's staring at me. You know, he got his legs folded in the chair. And he got his hand kind of right here, this little pin across his finger right here, just chilling, just grilling me. You know, and I was very uncomfortable. He just wouldn't let up at all. So his final question was, well, you know, or the last thing he said to me was, well, you know what, Kevin? I really like you, man. But I have a quick question for you, right? And I said, yeah, what's that? And he said, how would you feel if I told you that you had to cut your dreads? I was under the impression that I was not against policy to have dreadlocks. And his response to me was, well, I don't know policy. The fuck you mean you don't know policy? You know, like, you are the regional vice president. What do you mean you don't know policy? So I'm telling you that the lady who interviewed me first actually brought that page in the handbook about dress code and things of that nature for males and females, and nowhere in the handbook did it say anything about dreadlocks. Had I known that it was any different, I would have told them never mind, because I don't feel that I should have to change who I am for a job. If you like me, if you really like me, like you say you really like me, my dreads have absolutely nothing to do with it. But I left out of there feeling bad. I didn't feel like I performed well in the interview at all. I was really beating myself up that day. Like, I left and there was probably about 2 other people in there that was supposed to be interviewing after me. I told them good luck, you know, because I knew how much of an ass he was. But I left, I was feeling really bad. And so about an hour after, you know, I got home, I decided to email the lady that I spoke with first. I told her how the interview process went. I told her, you know, that he pretty much liked me, but he wanted me to cut my dreads. And I had verified with her that it wasn't against policy, again, to have dreadlocks. And, you know, she told me she'd give me a call back and that he did say that he liked me a lot. So when she called me, she was like, yeah, Kevin, I know I told you that, you know, it wasn't against policy to have locks, but it's just something that he wants. It's just something that he wants. So he wants you to cut your dreads before he agrees to give you the job. Let that marinate. He wants me to cut my dreads before he gives me the job. So everyone else before him said yes to me. He says yes to me, but only if you change your appearance for the position. Let that marinate. Now, how did you think that made me feel? I got a mind of my own. Anybody that know me know I got a mind of my own. Like, I think my mind is crazy, like, on some other stuff. But yeah, so I have a mind of my own, so regardless of what people tell me, I'm still going to do what I want to do. So, you know, of course I took their advice into consideration, and I came down to this conclusion. I said, you know, I can cut my dreads, I can get this job, I can be financially stable. You know, I wouldn't have been 100% happy no matter how much the money was. You know, the money don't make me, you know what I mean? So I'm glad that I made that decision, because right now I'll be a bald-headed calf, you know, and I have reason behind my dreadlocks. So like I said, I know this video is pretty long, but pretty much the moral of the story, y'all, is never get discouraged. You know, because even still, I'm still in the same position I was in before I graduated. I'm still here. you know, but sometimes your biggest blessings are the ones that you living in right now. And, you know, it's not always about that next move so soon. You know, I'm starting to learn to just enjoy life in the moment. Like, just enjoy the shit while you're here. You never know when you're gonna leave. You never know. People die every day. You know, you can lose somebody at any moment. You never know. So enjoy it while you're here. Enjoy the people while you're here. Make decisions that's best for you, that makes you happy. Not because somebody else say do it, not because, never change for nobody. Stay strong, stay headstrong, stay focused. You know, for the people who just graduated college like I did, loosen up. You know, if you flipping burgers at McDonald's, flip the hell out of them burgers. You know, make the best of it, because one day it's gonna happen for you. Just keep your head up, keep praying, and keep pushing. Never give up though. I ain't gonna give up, and eventually I'm gonna get there. You know, this is something that I just started doing, the whole vlogging thing. I just started doing this, you know. It's something that I think is interesting to me, it's fun, and hopefully this goes somewhere, you know. But I guess I'm living proof, man. Just don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams, don't give up on your hopes. Don't give up on life at all. Just keep going. Stay motivated, stay focused, and stay yourself. Again, my name is Kevin Crawford, and continue to tune into all our videos. We're going to have so many more videos coming up. Make sure you subscribe too. Make sure you subscribe. Please subscribe. Please like the videos, subscribe, and comment. Feel free to comment. If you like something, say you like that shit. If you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. You know what I mean? Hopefully you don't tell me that you don't like something, but if you don't like something, let us know. You know what I mean? Because we need to know what it is we need to do differently, what it is that we're doing right. But yeah, stay tuned like I said, and we're going through this with you, man, and it's going to be more to come. Thank you for watching.